I was going to say. I was only going to reveal this next thing when we were not recording, but Scott, I want to let you know I bought a MacBook Air today. I'm coming over to the dark side.
Dark side, you're finally getting the light. You're finally stepping out of the darkness into the sunlight. What are you talking about?
I can't believe I did it. Yep, it's going to travel with me when I go on my big huge fall tour of wherever it is that Rob Wilson is going to send me tomorrow, and so there you have it. So I'm going to take a MacBook Air with me, and I can't believe I'm going to do that.
I'm so proud of you. I just am so proud.
I'm sharing my screen right now. This is the Aussie New Zealand. I think you'll probably be able to see it all right, Scott.
Yeah, I see it great.
Okay, I'm just going to minimize the window just slightly. There it is, easier for me to see now. This is the 15-minute Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. It's the trade of the week for sure. This is the one, as far as I'm concerned. Down to the 800. We've been away from the 800 period simple moving average for longer than 1,000 bars. That brings us into Bossilator territory. We're over 1,000 on the Bossilator reading. This is the 15-minute chart. We've got a great trend line containing price right now. And I would love to see a break below this trend line and a move into 29.70, 29.65, somewhere in there, for a move approximately 75 pips lower on Australia, New Zealand. I love that trade. We're just breaking down on volume right now. I could even recommend, for instance, a sell trade right now with a stop loss above 1.3000. That's up here. And I would be perfectly happy with that. If you want to be extra careful, you could wait for the round number to be hit. That's the round number 1.3000. And that comes right up here in this area, Scott. And that would be perfectly fine as well. In fact, if you wanted to be extra giantly careful, you could wait for it to go to 1.3020 for the ultra super safe entry, 1.3020. It may not get there, but if it got to 1.3020, I would just be gargantuanly thrilled. I would be so happy about that. I wouldn't be able to stand it. But that's the trade. I think that's the trade of the week. That's going to be a good one. And Euro Aussie has been away from the 800 period simple moving average for over, I don't know, 1,100 now. It's quite a while. You could see on my chart here, if you reduce the size, I mean, it's been away for a long, long time.
Jeez, it's far away too. Not just a long time, but far, far away.
Yeah, lots of revenue potential here. We've already broken the trend line, and we're coming up against the 15-minute Ichimoku cloud. I'll talk about that for just a moment in a minute. And we could reach up to the level 1.1900. I think that's just a fantastic trade. Okay, the Ichimoku cloud settings, for most of you know this, are set to 1852 and 104. You can use these settings on just about any kind of chart. 1852, 104. I'll type these out on the screen in front of us. Most of you already know that. Some of you do not. There it is. That's the Ichimoku cloud settings. This acts as a dynamic level of support and resistance during a trend. When the cloud thins out, we usually see a break through the cloud. What we're looking for is a break above the trend line, and we're looking for a break above the cloud. We can have a trend line on volume and a trend line on price. We've got the currency pair breaking through both, or just about to, on volume, and already did on price. So, Scott, this is a buy right now with a stop loss below 1674. So it's a pretty big stop loss. It's about a 60 pip stop loss, and we've got I would just say go ahead and put a 200 pip profit target on that trade. And this is the other trade of the week. Looks absolutely fantastic. Those are both bossilated. There are other currency pairs that are showing some overextension that we can come back around to a little bit later. But these two just because of their profit potential and how clean they look with support and resistance, are definitely my two favorites.
Yeah, the Aussie New Zealand is a nice setup. The previous chart, the trade number one. Personally, just from my experience, I would go to the super ultra safe route and let it to come back up, just because it's the master of going up and down and side to side and not really going anywhere.
Right.
So on that particular chart, I love the Bossilator reading. I love the space. It's definitely got the support and resistance. You can see in recent times, it's kind of in a channel there with the tops. I'd love for it personally to get back up to the top of that kind of that slanting up channel, just because of this. Just because of this currency pair's nature. It doesn't do that all the time. I mean, it had a big uptrend there earlier in the middle of the chart. But personally, if I were trading this one, I love the Bossilator number. I would just want it to get up high. You might miss the trade, but on this pair, I would be okay with that. On the other pair, I like the trade pretty much as is. I wouldn't wait for too much.
So play it safe. There you go. There you have it. One burst of movement to 30.20 would be great. I'm going to put a pending order to sell Aussie New Zealand, Scott, at 30.10 to account for the spread, just to make sure I get filled. And I'm definitely going to go that route. I like the trade for a variety of reasons. The Bossilator is the number one reason that I like the trade, and I also like it from a support and resistance viewpoint. We're in the middle of a real consolidation area and just mere pips away from the next consolidation area or the next support and resistance area, right up in this area, right above 3,000. And boy, would I love for that level to be hit. I'm just not sure we'll get there.
Yeah, because it pays off to be patient with this currency pair, it probably will not go there now. This is the most incorrigible currency pair in my opinion. But
it is. It doesn't hit. It doesn't even hit the levels that you're waiting for it to hit. It just doesn't do it. It just does whatever it wants.
However, we do have it, with our hands around its neck a little bit with the good Bossilator reading. If you trade this earlier, even in the 600-700 range, it'll mess with you. But we kind of have an advantage this time, though, with a good Bossilator reading. So that's nice, but I would still try to let it get up there.
It's a really good point. You can see here down at the bottom, it reached 25.17 when it went down here on this real big spike lower. And it was just really 15 pips away from 25 even, which is it's a big round number. It's the middle of the 2000s, and it didn't hit it. It's just done.
It's not going to do it. No,
it's just done. It doesn't finish it off. A Japanese yen pair would like obsess about hitting the round number. I mean, it would be just like beside itself with angst about it until it made it happen.
It's true. I don't know what it is when you mess or an Aussie and a New Zealand person together. They just have fits. They just
have a fit. That's pretty funny. I wonder if Ned's here tonight. If he has any written comments to make about that.
He might. Yes.
No, he's not here. Bradley's here though. Hey, Brad. You know what? I'm going to make Brad a organizer. Not that Brad wants to say anything, but you can mute your microphone, Brad, if you don't want to say anything. Hey, Brad.
Hey.
He's not
Brad's Brad's the CEO of Rob Booker Japan and runs a Bossilator course in Japan. Brad, do you have any... You see anything setting up with a Bossilator trade? And I don't expect that you do. I mean, I just completely ruined your evening by bringing you into this entire conversation.
I've been waiting for the Aussie dollar to do something, but I'm kind of waiting a little longer because it knocked me out a couple times on a buy trade.
Are you on the 1 hour chart?
Yeah, I look at the 1 hour.
Yeah, there it is. That's the 1 hour chart. What's your reading right now on that pair?
Let me pull it up here just a second. I've got a Bossilator of 636.
Yeah, and I've got one of about 750, and I'm in the mood to wait for that as well. But that has broken down.
Yeah, it broke
Scott,
another trend line.
Above 500s. That's doable, right?
Oh yeah, especially in the higher time frames too. Absolutely.
Look at this. This one is what kills me. This is the Australian dollar, folks. Last week, the Australian dollar climbed straight up. Look at the euro dollar. Went down. I mean, they're both against the dollar, and people said, wow, what happened to the correlation? It's like, well, they're two different countries. They're not correlated. They're not correlated. That's why there's a euro-Aussie. If you think these two pairs are correlated, look at this chart. They're not correlated.
No.
The euro got crushed. It's the greatest trade of the year was euro-Aussie. I mean, I haven't seen anything that good for a long, long time. Here's the cloud setup on this, Brad, too. I mean, it's just breaking down the trend line. It's just about to break through volume. And generally when that happens, we do get to at least the bottom of the cloud here into this area.
Right.
And then maybe lower. I wonder if we also had divergence up here at the top. It doesn't look like we did, Brad.
No, I didn't see any divergence on that.
I'm not sure I have my Wallaby charts set up. I don't know what I'm going to do to get my Wallaby fix, Scott, once I get the MacBook Air delivered.
MacBook probably comes with the Wallaby already installed because it knew that.
The Bossilator with the new Apple Mountain Lion operating system. The Bossilator is included. Hundreds of millions of people would be like, WTF, what the heck is going on? That's hilarious. Well, Scott, I would love to see what you're looking at right now. You have a diatribe on Investors Business Daily that I'm just dying to hear.
Yes, I'm an angry white person, that's for sure.
Angry subscriber. Do you get that paper delivered?
No, I just buy it periodically from time to time.
Okay, I almost asked you how often is it published. I almost asked you that question.
Investors Business Daily is once a month. That's right.
It's published. Yeah, they give it away. It's a dead giveaway. It's got to be once a week. It's got to be. It's a dead giveaway. Well, I'm going to make you the presenter, and could we look at some stuff that you're working on?
Yes, we can. I'd love to.
Scott, are you going to watch the Olympics?
You know, almost my whole life, I hated the Olympics. I thought it was specialized and weird and sports that no one cares about. Mm-hmm. And then the 2008 Olympics just absolutely, I was riveted every single night. So, yeah, I'm going to be back. I couldn't believe how much I liked the Olympics. I couldn't believe it.
Was that the one that in Beijing?
Yeah, the Beijing with Phelps and Usain Bolt and all the gymnastics. And it was awesome. Well, here's the first chart, and before we get to the chart, I do want to go off on my diatribe on William O'Neill personally. I'm sure he's listening tonight, so he's going to be really mad. In IBD, Investors Business Daily, which comes out once a year. When I was a beginning trader, I started in stocks, and obviously I was looking around everywhere to try to find a way to learn how to trade. And when a friend of mine got Investors Business Daily and started picking stocks, and we started picking stocks against each other, and he was winning, and all he was doing is picking stocks that appeared in his newspaper, the IBD newspaper. And so I started investigating it very seriously, and I just got more angry and angry and angry every single day because it seemed like, and I still agree, that IBD, the newspaper, is one of the best sources of information on the stock market, maybe the best. I mean, that is an incredible newspaper. It gives you everything. And it's totally dedicated to finding the best stock winners of the last 50, 70 years. And his book even starts off, and it just gets me fired up. You know, he's talking about, we went back and researched every single stock winner since 1920, and these are the characteristics it have, and you can do it too, and blah, blah, blah. And I read that book, and when we finally got to the point where we're actually going to start trading, he made a point to say, well, charts are absolutely essential. And he goes through all this fundamental stuff, blah, 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 and they said charts are absolutely fundamental. You know, a doctor doesn't perform surgery if he doesn't look at a chart or an x-ray. You know, anyone who tells you a chart isn't important is silly. So I'm like, all right, I like charts better. So, and then he got to his cup with the handle system, and it is easily the most indecipherable thing that I've ever seen on planet. I think Egyptian hieroglyphics are easier to understand. I mean, his patterns are totally, I don't want to call them fake, but there is no way a rational human being can pick a cup with a handle chart live. I mean, at the right edge of the chart. There's just no way. I've tried it. He's got this great information. I can pick my stocks. He's got me all fired up, and then he's got me looking for patterns. So I just thought it was stupid So I read the book, and I read it again, and I subscribed to IBD years ago. I subscribed, and I got it every day, even though it came out once a week. I got it every day.
I got the same one delivered every day of the week.
Every day. And I read, and they give you tips, and they have on their website, they have an Ask IBD, and they have hundreds and hundreds of questions. And I asked, and I asked, and I learned, and I learned. And he kept telling me in his books it'd be easy, and I never got it. I still have no idea what a cup with a handle pattern is. And by the way, there's like 18 iterations of the cup with a handle that the newspaper always tells you after the fact. It's, well, if you would have bought on the base that we recommended here, and I was watching that frickin' stock, and I did not catch the base. I have no idea what you're talking. And I get angry, and I would say loud things in a room by myself. Anyway, I just dropped it. I never ever searched for a cup with a handle pattern again, and I used the newspaper to find stocks and to troll for stocks, but never ever traded anything close to what he said in any way. Well, I did all right, actually, and it's a great place to pick stocks. Like I said, it's a great newspaper. Well, as we're doing this Bossilator course, I'm becoming more and more interested in opening up a live account, trading stocks along with Forex that I trade. But the Bossilator works super fantastically on stocks that move. The magic formula stocks, the value stocks, absolutely it works. But some of those are beaten down, downtrodden stocks, and they will bounce back, but they don't bounce back with explosion. And O'Neill is right. He has studied all the big winners. He just doesn't have the first clue on how to get the regular person in on it. I mean, there's just no way. And I know he says his students have made 1,000%, and I just don't care. There's no way. Because by the way, I just read his latest book again, and I still don't get it. And
What's his latest book called?
Oh, let's see.
The Jock and Handle?
It's How to Make Money in Stocks. It's the same freaking title, but it's the revised version. And he even gives you a DVD, which I haven't even opened. I mean, I bought the book. I'm so angry about it. I actually went to the store several months ago and bought the book. But the reason I want it is I want his list of the 50 years of stock winners. That's what I really want it for. So anyway, short story long. I want to find a way to trade with the Bossilator rules and the robot. I want to be able to trade IBD stocks. First, I just wanted to see if it works. Second, I wanted to do that. So over the weekend, I went to the store and I bought my $2 IBD newspaper. And what's cool on Fridays is that he has a listing of the top 50 stocks in the world as far as high-flying, quick-to-move stocks that have just done phenomenally. And so what I did for tonight's presentation is I just went down, I did number 1, I did number 2, and I just went through them all, and I put them on a 15-minute chart to see what the Bossilator would say about it and to see if it's something that we could trade, something that is decipherable, that everyone can do, and that we can actually trade. So that's the background. I am on a mission to trade IBD stocks 800 times better than William O'Neill and to make it accessible to normal human beings.
800 times better than William O'Neill.
Approximately 800, maybe 700.
This is just getting better and better.
I'm sorry, 750
And are they
times.
known to be stocks that move? Is that the whole point here?
The whole point is that IBD does pick, in its pages are, the next Starbucks, the next Apple. Absolutely, positively. But how do you trade them? It has absolutely no clue on how to tell you how to trade them. It absolutely
just tells you
won't
what's
work.
about to move.
It tells you what's about to move, and then after it moves, it'll tell you in the paper what you should have done.
Okay.
That's basically a system. It gives you great, incredible information on thousands of stocks, information you can actually use, and then after the fact say how you should have used it. And I think that's garbage. It makes me angry.
Yeah, right. It is garbage.
So this is chart number 1. And some of these are a little bit crazy. This is, I have to read it, Mellanox Technologies, Mellanox Tech.
That's probably a laxative. Probably a laxative.
It probably is. It's MLNX. That's what it is. So all I did is I went back. Now, these are stocks that are poised to move right now. This is the number 1 stock in his IBD 50. The top 50 stocks in the world of the 10,000 he runs the screen on. 10,000 stocks, this is number 1. This is not only the one that's moved the most, but is poised to move the most in the future. Right, that's his Hot 50. They've performed great, and they will probably perform great in the future. So I did all my back testing using basic Bossilator rules, and I tested up to the end of 2010, and then just ran it forward. This is screened to move now, but I didn't even test on now. I tested on the past, on whatever past these stocks have. So all the data after 2010 is all forward testing. It's not optimized in any way. So what we did here is I'll go over the rules, and the rules are pretty much the same as we've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks. I'll go to my format strategies, and here are the Bossilator rules that I put on. I have to read it again. Mellanox Tech. That's what it's called. First of all, I'm only going long. These stocks in IBD are not meant to go short. None of them. He's trying to pick.
Right. He doesn't pick. Right. They don't pick stocks for short selling. That is
everything.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's long only. So all my testing is long only. You can see buy and sell on, no sell short. So that's number one. All of these are long trades. Number two, I just put 500 shares on all of them. We'd obviously each person have to tailor that to his or her account size.
Right.
Trades 24 hours a day, or in other words, just trades the entire stock session. Here are our magical trend inputs. It's only going to take trades when it's been away from the 800 for 180 bars minimum, and it will never take a long trade after 300 bars. We've only been doing that since, last September? We've been talking about that magic band of trading wonderfulness. Right. To make it easy, I didn't even put a numerical exit on it because that works in pennies. I wanted to work I wanted to make it apples to apples, because $1 on one stock is not $1 on another. So I wanted to do it in ratios. And what I mean by that is I put a stop loss exit. I put it 40 cents under a low. On my robot, when it says stop loss exit, it just goes to the previous low. That's all that means. But this, I put a buffer. I put it 40 cents below the low to give it just a little bit of room. So the stop loss is the previous low plus 40 cents. Is that pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
And then I went for an 8-to-1 profit target. This is the risk to reward profit multiplier. So that means that whatever the space is between entry and the previous low plus 40 cents, it takes whatever that is. If that's $1, then it's going to go for an $8 profit target.
Right.
PSAR is a little bit slower. I did do some optimizing on the PSAR. Very, very little. This is 0.3. I think we've talked about it being 0.7.
Yep.
Or 0.7. Stochastic is a little bit longer. I've got the Rob Booker, almost 30. 25 and 30 both work about the same. 25 is a little bit better, so I left it there. But that's a stochastic that we like. And then move to break even after $1.50 with 50 cents above. So you don't go break even, you just put 50 cents above. I didn't even optimize that. I just left that. So we've got a break even after $1.50. Put the stop 40 cents below the low, and the profit target is 8-to-1. Okay, pretty simple. That's the setup. There we close that up, and here's how it performed. Now this is from 2007 to 2012. This is as far back as it went. I went as far back. At least IBD loves new stocks too. They don't like old fuddy-duddies. They like new stocks. So 18,790 profit with only a $4,800 drawdown. I mean that's phenomenal. But it's even better. Here's your equity.
Gosh, whoa.
Now, it doesn't trade that much, but as we'll see as we go through a few others, this is fairly typical the way to trade this, so I'm very confident. Even though my sample size is small, you'll see that this all kind of looks similar, so I trust it. So there's your equity curve. What's interesting, though, about this, about MLNX, is we've just recently hit the 800 and gapped up. We are getting close to prime trading time. If anybody is a stock trader, we've been away for, I can't see it on my screen, but only 51 bars. When this gets to 180 bars away, we might get a trade. Now, how it enters is exactly the same. It's going to be a bounce off the Bollinger Band, stochastic down, oversold, and then a PSAR break, which is we talked about it last week. And we talk about it just about every week. But that's so when it enters, 180 bars, bounce off the Bollinger Band, stochastics down, and it goes. And that's how every trade has gone. So here's a way that you can trade the number one stock in IBD. Pretty cool.
That's awesome. Did it just happen to be set up on? I mean, because you already use the 15-minute chart. That's standard for you, and it just happened to be ready.
Yeah, it's exactly. This is total coincidence. I just started at number one. I just started. That's it. I just okay. What's number one? And I went. And look, it's setting up now. So
and are you, it's setting up now. Are we waiting for anything else just to revise, or is this ready?
We need 130 more bars. That's it. So we do need a few days. But other than that, yeah, this is we're not too far away. Yeah, we can watch this over the next, by next week or even before next week, it might be ready to go.
That's
So
awesome.
we'll see. Yeah. Number 2 on the list is guess. Oh, your
Hmm.
old buddy Apple.
How
Apple is
about
number 2 on
that?
the IBD. Yeah, isn't that? I didn't even know that you did what you did too. You see that the setup is very, very similar. It's very, very even though stocks each have their own personality, it's all very similar. Um, Trades 24 hours a day, whatever. Up 180, 300, same thing. 40 cents below the low. The stock, because this is such a high price stock, movie stopped to break even at $7 rather than $1.50. That is a change. And 15 to 1 is
Wow.
your profit target. Now, 10 worked, 11 worked, 12. I mean, they all worked, but 15 worked the best, so I just left it. You can see the PSAR is a little twitchier. That's basically just a steeper trend line, meaning get in quick, don't wait, don't mess around. And so anyway, let's take a look at how Apple traded. Again, I stopped after 2010. This goes back to 2000 and look at the equity curve. Donk, 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 all the way up.
Hmm.
Numbers are a little bit bigger. $24,000 to only a $3,900. That's. I mean, you get an.
Yeah,
And
drawdown of
people will tell you that
$3,900 and a profit of 24,000 over the course of let's see
since
here,
2000.
12
Yeah.
years.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 12 years, 5 months.
That's a lot of
So I
different
mean,
market
depending.
conditions. Apple was not trading at $600 a share 12 years ago.
No,
There were
absolutely
people
not.
that questioned whether Apple would survive 12 years ago. And so you're not looking at just the bull, just the bull
No.
run. You're also, I mean, that's why it lost at the beginning perhaps, but
Right. Well, yeah. Well, look. I mean, the first couple of trades, but it only drew down. I mean, not even $2,000. And that once it went positive, we never have looked back. Pretty
they're now
amazing.
talking about the fact that you don't watch the Apple TV. It watches you. Just kidding. But
Now,
that's,
thing
oh,
is
excuse
about
me, that's
this.
the Google TV.
We need Apple to come down though. We don't have a trade setting up. We're in the red zone, meaning so if we get a fall to Apple down to 589 or as the 800 comes up, then we're going to get another trade on Apple. So I don't think we're far away. I think this is going to maybe level off and the 800 is going to come up and get us somewhere out here, and then we'll get a trade. So we can watch this in the future. Had some losers here. Had some losers there, but I think we had a win or two somewhere back there. But it
And
doesn't
what
matter.
what do you call this method that you're looking at here?
Well, I call my entry slingshot because I feel like it's bouncing off the Bollinger Band and whatever and snapping up. It reminded me of a slingshot, but this is just basic trend trading on the Bossilator. I would call this when I go to 180. I just call it the basic trend trade, plain vanilla trend trade. See, the last winner we had was on. Oops, that's not. Last winner. Oh, there's an open trade. Yep. Last winner was all the way back here on 12:30. It doesn't trade all the time. You can see it can go 6 months without a trade because Apple trends so hardcore. You can wait months for it, but if you look back at our chart, we're due. If it comes down and touches 800, we're going to get another trade on Apple. We've had a couple shots at it here, but it's just not ready to go yet.
Right.
But then I just went down to number 3, which is, I have to look at my paper, Alexion Pharmaceuticals. Your favorite and mine. We talk about it all the time. I've never heard of it before in my life. But it's number 3. I just went down the list. And let's see what our parameters were here. 24 hours a day, 180, 300. 40 cents below the low. Move a stop, break even at $2, so right around that $1.50 work also. PSAR is a little bit slower. Risk to reward is only 4 to 1 on this one, which means it's not quite a high flyer. So that did change. But let's take a look and see how the results were. 97, now this is a smaller price stock. But you can see our drawdown was only 3,000. So we're still almost 3.5 to 1 profit, which is fantastic. And you can see it's a little bit choppier, but we're hardly ever even, going back to 2000 once again, hardly ever in the negative. That's pretty, I mean, it's a little choppy, but we're pretty much going straight up.
Yeah, right.
And this one is setting up, it's real close actually. 176 bars, let's see, yeah, we're 3 bars away from possibly getting a trade on ALXN. And that's just totally coincidence, but so we'll see.
And does that wrap it up for your charts?
I did do one more
Great.
because the rest of them I'd never heard of, and this is Ross Stores that we've talked about quite a bit on the daily chart or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'll show you Ross Stores, and we just missed a trade on that. But I will finish up with this last one. Again, long only. 24 hours a day, 18300, same thing. You can see 40 cents below the low. $1.50 break even, 13 to 1, and kind of a slow PSAR. How did Ross do? Straight up. Numbers wise, 18,600, a drawdown of only 3,400. That's almost 6 to 1. You see we had just a loser there, but it's gradually making new highs. And this one just barely came out. We're just past it. We're just past the 300. So what we'd like Ross Stores to do is come down. And this just sells like a TJ Maxx. It just sells cheap retail stuff. If it comes down to the 800 at 6609, and then all we need is 180 bars, and we're ready to go for a long trade on Ross Stores. This was number 11. I just skipped down to the next name I'd heard of, and so this was number 11. So basically what I'm trying to say is you can go through this IBD. You don't have to even look anywhere in the paper. You don't have to scour through all the pages. It's got 2 sections. You just go right to the IBD 50 and put your Bossilator rules on it, 180, 300 bars, and then you can use this entry method or any entry method that you like and get in trades with a huge profit target. How will you know which profit target? Well, you can start with 4 to 1. I generally recommend anywhere between 8 to 1, or take it out anytime you want. I mean, you get a couple high flyers, you're done for the year. So I thought that was interesting. I'm trying to make IBD accessible because I think it's a great newspaper. I just think the way he's tried to help the layperson has been pitiful, and I would like the Bossilator course to do a better job.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. You're absolutely welcome.
And are you using a Mac right now, or are you using a Windows computer? I can't tell.
I mean, I'm using a Mac with my Windows partition.
That's unbelievable.
Don't you know that?
That should not be possible. I don't believe it.
It's
Brad,
possible.
are there any other Forex trades that are setting up that you're looking at, or have we covered them all?
I think we've covered everything. I'm waiting for some more Wallaby setups actually.
That's awesome.
But-
Do you have a few
but
that
no
you're waiting
divergence
for?
yet. No, some divergence set up. I had some winners at the end of the week on the pound dollar and the euro dollar, and then I'm waiting for new divergence.
Yeah. So other than the ones we've shown you, that's about everything that's setting up. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate the overview of the new stuff that you're working on. I think I'm going tonight to request a free trial of IBD.
Oh, no, absolutely. They're good at that. They give great free trials, like 10 or 12 days of free newspapers.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
Oh, that's excellent. All right. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Brad.
Sure, thanks, Rob.
Have a good evening, everyone. Glad to be with you. We'll be back next Sunday, and we'll bring to you more setups on the Bossilator, and we'll follow up during the week, hopefully with you sometime on the ones that we looked at tonight. See y'all later. Have a good evening.